Lupa record anjir. Mau selesai lagi Archonnya.
Excuse me.
I take it Mr. Fremenet's condition?
Of course.
I've been expecting those two, but might I inquire as to the purpose of your visit, Miss Siegwing?
I wanted to check up on Miss Cloran. How are you feeling?
Mostly fine, I think.
If you don't mind, I'd like to perform another quick physical exam. It'll just
Angka
take a
9
few
ya
minutes.
di kepalanya itu ya.
All right. Thank you for looking out.
Well, want to explain yourself, Risley?
Of course, but I'm not partial to the word choice of explain. Where should I begin? How about you start by asking me any...
Then Paimon will begin. Did you know about Lenny's...
No. I just knew they were Fatui operatives sent to the fortress by the Knave. As for their specific goals, I only figured those out as you made
GG
progress
juga
on
ya
your
si Duke
investigation.
ini ya.
You
Ya udah tahu.
managed to monitor and stay ahead of them even though you didn't know what they were trying to do?
They came here with ulterior motives. I'm quite adept at discerning what that kind of behavior signals. Initially, I thought their goal was just to investigate Child's disappearance. Linny suggested that I had deliberately let him escape, but in truth, I didn't really do anything special to help or hinder him while he was here. Of course, it's inevitable that the Knave would make a big deal out of her fellow Harbinger's unexplained disappearance. I'm also quite curious about where that Harbinger went. So I figured I might as well let the Fatui do their own investigative work.
So you were hoping
Anjir kada
Lenny
tahu
would
juga
just
di
do
mana
your work
si
for
Cilda
you.
ya.
You make it sound like that's a bad thing. Unfortunately, things didn't go as planned. I assume that Fremenet has told you already, the ratio of
Kayaknya ya.
primordial seawater around the fortress of Meripede is on the
Misteri
rise.
si Cilda ini
The
kayaknya
Forbidden
di
Zone has always
4.2 dah.
been Lenny's target, and you got roped into that investigation after running into him. I began to intervene out of concern for your safety, and also to prevent the fortress from becoming...
Are the rumors true? That you're also a former...
Why would you put it like that? Isn't staying here all day and serving as the manager of the fortress a kind of sentence unto itself? Another form of prison?
Oh, right. Paimon wanted to ask... Who...
Me, of course. I paid her good mora to come down to the fortress for some field work. As a champion duelist, Miss Cloran could be considered to be an independent party. I needed to find an exceptionally capable person to help me get through the appendix.
And saving Fremenet was part of that...
You can think of it like that, yes. Credit where credit is due, that boy is quite adept at diving. Had conditions not been as hostile as they were, that's not something you should be asking after. Nevertheless, all I need to prove to you is that the Forbidden Zone had nothing to do with the Harbinger's disappearance. That should be clear now that you've spoken to Fremenet.
But we've already uncovered that there's something wrong with the infirmary, and we've answered a bunch of questions that you threw at us. Isn't it about time that you...
You make a compelling case. Do you...
Yeah, Paimon really wants...
Even if the truth may not be pleasant? Follow me.
Ay, apa ya isinya ya? Zona terlarang ya. Kirain gak mau juga si Duka ini ngasih tahu. Lah. Anjir tangga.
There's a hidden door here? And a whole basement behind it? Huh. You're pretty good at hiding stuff, Risley.
Oh di kantor ya.
It seems you've
Zona
forgotten just
terlarangnya.
what kind of place the Fortress of Meripede is. Stand on the central plate.
Wait, is there a secret mechanism or... Whoa!
Lip kah? Anjay. Lip dong. Penasaran, zona terlarang itu apa ya?
So, this is the Forbidden Zone? Honestly, for a place so well hidden, what a huge door!
There are 3 such isolation gates in total. Generally speaking, I'm the only one. Am I correct to assume you're going to run on back and tell your little Fatui friends everything?
Well, Paimon wasn't thinking...
Well, I'd advise you wait until you've seen the whole truth of this place for yourself.
Wow. Misterius sekali nih si Duke ya. Apa sih dalamnya?
Huh. So there's a switch on the side.
Ternyata mayat Cilde ya.
Stand back.
Kan dia bilang nggak tahu kan ada Cilde. Kemana Cilde menghilang? 3 lapis dong.
Whoa. They all just went up one by one.
Go on, have a look.
Apa sih? Arena tarung kah?
I've been interested in what lies beyond that gate ever since I assumed leadership of the Fortress of Meripede. Of course, it would be unwise to recklessly open it, but it'd also be risky and negligent to simply ignore any potential danger that could be behind it. The readings on that dashboard have not budged since the day when I first laid eyes on this place. But over the past year, the needle has crept upwards from its original position, likely because some parameter it's been tracking has changed, if only infinitesimally. Normally, I would have ignored it, but I happened to have some free time when I noticed it, so I investigated. Any guesses what the reading could be tracking?
Di bawah laut ya. Biasanya aku tidak akan peduli, tapi kebetulan saja sedang senggang ketika itu. Jadi aku pelajari sedikit. Tahu tidak parameter apa yang dia acak. Temperatur itu kan buat panas ya. Tekanan air dah.
Very reasonable guesses. I've considered both of those as well. Unfortunately, our dashboard is tracking something less ordinary. The temperature should vary with weather and climate changes, so for something that rarely shifts, the water pressure is more likely. We ran a few tests to increase the pressure from the outside, but the readings didn't change at all. Later on, a few more possibilities occurred to me, such as a potential connection with the primordial sea. I began to make a few preparations based on that hypothesis. Over the past few days, the needle has
Ya,
moved
si
again.
Priminit kan
With that, and the
gara-gara ada
symptoms
primordial
that
kan.
Fenne'ay displayed after leaving
Ya
the
kayak gitu
fortress,
ya.
I can now confidently conclude that the readings represent the concentration of primordial seawater in the
Oh,
seawater
udah
nearby.
kecampur kayaknya.
The concentration of primordial seawater? But we're on...
And that is precisely the problem. We're at the bottom of the sea, and now we're surrounded by toxic seawater. Somehow, primordial seawater got mixed in, and the concentration is steadily rising. Yes. That's
Wah,
very
parah sih.
But forget about the two of us. Not even Neverland knows where the primordial sea could be, much less where we could find and plug a leak. Oh.
Ramalan ya.
Seems like you've figured it out. I believe the primordial sea lies directly beneath this sluice gate. For some reason, the primordial seawater levels have risen significantly. The indicators are now red. Although the gate still stands, some primordial seawater has already leaked out and mixed into the sea around us. If this continues, soon it will no longer be able to hold back the primordial sea at all.
Kayak sampai tembus. Fontaine akan jatuh bersamaan dengan robohnya pintu ini. Tenggelam kan ya, sesuai ramalan yang beredar di Fontaine ya. Masuk akal sih anjir. Air primordial.
Yeah, you know what the legends say. If this place falls, then everyone in Fontaine will be turned into puddles in a
Bersama
span of a
dengan
night.
rakyat-rakyatnya.
But that's just too weird. Why would the Fortress of Meripede be built right above a sluice gate for the primordial sea?
Your expression tells me you think this might be part of a vast, complicated conspiracy. To be honest, you might find it's just that the secret of the Forbidden Zone had been long forgotten by the nation before I read this. There's no single founder of the Fortress of Meripede in any traditional sense. When the previous Hydro Archon, Egeria, ruled the land, all convicted criminals from Fontaine were exiled. The people drove the criminals away like a wolf pack. The criminals received no sympathy of any kind from the people. They were exiled to the desolate seaside, where they experienced some of them began to repent and prayed to the Hydro Archon, asking if there was still anything they could do. The Hydro Archon took pity on them and said, "You may go guard my secret." And
Rahasia.
so, leaning on the power of the Hydro Archon, they gathered underneath the sea and began to build a fortress. They became a community. As the number of exiles increased, more and more people joined the community. When the first group of exiles died, they left the yet unfinished fortress to their successor. The Hydro Archon continued to lend her support, allowing the fortress and what it stood for to continue growing ever larger. Before long, and with that, the people here stopped referring to the fortress as a prison. They saw themselves as repenting sinners who would regain. But as time went on, people also realized that the fortress was a lonely place. Once they had gotten used to life here, once they had finished serving their sentences, some people left and some others chose to stay. They'd find some idle position and let their withered souls fade away with the ancient secrets of the past. After many, many centuries,
Sedih sih
some
anjir.
people still remember the reason for the fortress's founding. Now they just see it as an integral pillar of Fontanian society, as the place where criminals deserve to be sent. Now and again, researchers manage to break one law or another and live out their days in the fortress. I learned all this from an elderly
But now you know every part of that history is true.
Indeed. It's just as the prophecy says. If this gate fails, then everyone will be
Iya kan,
dissolved into the sea.
air prima dia kan bisa ngelarutin orang panten ya. Yang nggak larut itu orang non panten kayak traveler, paiman kan, bahkan orang Mondstadt kan. Yang acara sulap itu kan nggak larut kan, dia kan disiram sama air prima dia.
To be frank, not really. But sadly, that hasn't stopped this prophecy from proving all too
Anjir,
accurate.
si Dukoy pun percaya sama ramalan.
Prophecies are troublesome things. Just hearing one will create the first wave of panic. Seeing signs of it will bring about the second, and actually witnessing it in real time. Let's go somewhere else. I want to show you something.
Wah, seru nih. Bahaya banget ya kalau sampai primordial
This is it.
meletus.
Your Grace, perfect timing. The results from our lab.
Wait, Jurier, he's not alone. Huh? Loravine and Jurier?
No need to panic, you two. I've already told them about our...
What? After you warned us not to tell a single soul?
I'm skeptical as well. Are you sure they are trustworthy?
The results speak for themselves, don't they? These two may already know more than you could ever imagine.
Mampus.
Alright then, if Your Grace insists.
They seem harmless enough, so I'll trust them for now.
How about some reintroductions? This is Jurier, one of the highest-ranked researchers from the Fontaine Research Institute. He used to work under Edwin. I trust that you've heard of Edwin.
Edwin yang mana ya?
Good. Saves me a bit of time explaining. Edwin's main areas of research were archaeum and gravimeters. As his assistant, Jurier is quite familiar with them as well. I hired him to be my technical consultant.
You want to blow up the fortress of...
What a lovely idea. I'm already
Paimon.
imagining it in my head.
Gotta admit, I'm tempted.
Guys, focus! Focus!
That taskmaster over there is Miss Lorvine, and is also one of my technical consultants.
Ooh, are they together?
See, everyone keeps asking this question. Are you too sure you're not a couple and just using your work as...
Your Grace, I am not in a relationship.
If I
Kesel
dated
juga ya.
her, I'd officially be madder than Edwin.
Jeez, forget I said anything then. Follow me.
Apa ya yang mau dibangun ya?
Whoa, there's another door that goes right up.
Your constant amazement makes it seem like the fortress can do anything.
Paiman.
Like, Paimon really thinks everything's super cool.
Well, let's spice it up a bit. And here you go.
Kapal ya?
What a huge ship! This is also a production zone that Paimon's never seen before. What's...
How much do you know about Fontanian history?
Not...
Well, then maybe you haven't heard the story of ancient Lemuria. To give you a quick rundown, according to legend, the Lemurian king Remus came to this land after being inspired by divine revelation and found the seer Sibila, who had taken on the form of a golden bee. Taking the golden bee with him and riding on a huge ship, the
Bangsa
Fortuna,
lihat
he
ombak yang
created
menderu.
his nation above. He called his nation Lemuria, and used the Fortuna to incessantly search for new tribes and islands, calling on them to join his empire.
There's a ship in this story too?
Where there's water, there'll be ships. People believe that hope can always be found at the end of them.
Do you believe that too?
To a point, I think. As you've already seen, I have a whole factory's worth of labor, materials, and technology at my disposal. So the moment I began to speculate that the primordial sea might lie underneath the gate, I also...
Were you inspired by the legendary Fortuna?
maybe. Fontanians need something to
Oh,
hold
jadi
on to
si
to cope
Duke
with the
nyiapin
impending
kapal ya.
disaster.
Kalau ada sewaktu-waktu banjir kan dia bisa naik kapal. Dan kapalnya jadi kota. Kayaknya kayak gitu dah. Kayak zaman Nabi Nuh dah.
Were the workers to find out the truth behind this ship, riots would destroy the fortress faster than any catastrophe. As the fortress's administrator, I'd never make such a reckless call.
Nah, pintar-pintar.
Alright, that's enough talking for now. I'll need another 3 cups of tea to soothe my throat. Seems like you're good. Come on.
Oh, jadi ada solusinya. Kalau sewaktu-waktu si air primordial itu naik ke atas kan, kapalnya udah siap. Tapi kan untuk sekarang kapalnya belum siap ya.
I'll leave you here for now.
Iya.
Oh,
Masih dikerjain.
No worries. But don't forget, it's up to you whether or not you want to share what you just saw.
yeah. We'll put a lot of thought into it for sure.
Great. I look forward to...
Jejak bencana. Gak tahu sih ini alur ceritanya, kita mau cerita apa enggak.
We're back!
Welcome back. Do you want to...
How can you be so much like Risley, Owen?
Huh. Actually, now that you mention it, while I was sedated, I could still barely hear 2 people talking next to me. They were discussing everything.
Must have been Risley and Sishwin.
Yeah, I heard 1 male voice and 1 female, so...
I really can't make sense of this place.
So, Traveler, Paimon, were you able to learn?
Yeah, he explained everything.
Very well. Then, would you mind checking your answers against my speculations? Yeah, I took the time to...
Nobody else is around, and Miss Sijwin is also busy with something or...
All right, then I'll posit my theories. I asked myself 3 questions. Firstly, why was Fremine affected by the primordial seawater? It was because he dove into the sea. My theory is, the long-lost primordial sea is...
Whoa, he's good.
That's our Linny.
Secondly, Risley's attitude changed dramatically during the course of our stay here. He ignored us completely at first, then suddenly roadblocked us. Why? I spent quite a long time thinking about this. If he has been monitoring the Fatui since the very beginning, he probably ignored us at first because he was hoping we could find Master
Anjir, pintar
Child
juga ya
for
si
him.
Line ya.
What's more, the fortress of Meripede is not part of Fontaine's court system, nor does it report to Udex Nervulet. Risley is... As long as the fortress doesn't do anything about Master Child's disappearance, Father can use it to pressure the Fontaine authorities. And while the 2 factions are pitted against each other, Risley will be free to move between the parties of interest. If I had to guess, he probably has something that he's working on himself. It's likely related to the secret of the infirmary, but...
You're super smart.
Thanks so much. If Risley does have a plan, what could it be? All I know for now is that his plan probably has something to do with the changing nature of the seawater. That can't be the full extent of what he's doing. There's probably a secret passageway behind the block in the infirmary, and there's something big in the fortress that most people here never get to see. He has... I don't have enough information, so I have no idea what his chip might be. But let me guess.
I can't.
The sea will engulf everyone.
Could Risley have wanted to meet Father to figure out a way to deal with this crisis? If you remember, I once mentioned that Father sees the House of the Hearth as her base of operations, and she truly wants to resolve the crisis.
Or perhaps he didn't know and just wanted to bring Father over to his side, which could be why he said he.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I understand your concerns as well, Traveler. I'll figure out a way to the two of you have already aided us far too much. We probably wouldn't be standing here. If you ever need anything else going forward, please come to the House of the Hearth. Though you may not share the sentiment, after all that we've gone through together, the three of us basically see you as...
You have my gratitude.
Thank you for protecting Lenny when it really
Cerita
mattered.
juga akhirnya ya.
And thank you for sharing the secrets of the fortress with us. We didn't think you were going to do it.
Why are you being so formal all of a sudden?
Given your strength, you might not need our help at all. But if you are ever in danger...
Aww, the sound of that makes Paimon feel all...
Lapar.
Paimon's hungry.
Paimon hungry.
You've done so much already.
Alright, then we'll catch you guys...
Makan, makan, dan makan sama Paimon. Makan mulu. Apa ini ya? Ya kali dapat mini pellet kan nggak tahu. New pellet, anjay, thank you. Lumayan. New pellet. Tidak segampang itu kata Mihoyo. Lumayan, thank you.
Come on, let's go pick up ours as well. Traveler Paimon, over here. Are you here for dinner too, Miss? And I'm taking the opportunity to prepare Miss Cloran's dinner. Huh. You're right. What would you like to eat? Yep, you can. I've already talked to our chef, Mr. Walsey. It's
Nah, enak
all on
dong.
me today, so you can get whatever you'd like. Don't forget Paimon. No problem. Just
Yang paling enak, yang makanan hari pertama ya, yang paling enak kata Traveler kan.
that was delicious.
Enak. Supnya lumayan ya.
Feels to be freeloaders? Wait, feeling full yet? How's the food? Delicious.
Sangat lezat. Thank you.
I'm so glad to see you all so happy. Oh, see, the expression. Sijuin, do you do this to help your patients or to a bit of both, I suppose. I'm a
Medicine
which
bangsa
means I'm
kan
very
ya.
different from human beings. I must know what you're thinking if I want to take... You're really good at taking care of people. Even though you're so short, you still talk and act like an older sister. Really? You're reminded of an older sister? That's great to hear. Oh, and what did you mean back in Risley's office? When you said that you were protecting Linny and his siblings as well? Oh, that. I just asked His Grace to look out for those children, especially... Thankfully, Glorand is very strong and managed to save him in the nick of time. His Grace also sealed the pipes after... Although the path was blocked, we still stationed some guards there to stop anyone from approaching. They were instructed to only open the door. Oh, and I was keeping an eye on Mr. Linney as well. We had to press him, but we couldn't allow him to be in it. You were all super considerate and really thought It's just what we do down here at the fortress. At least this has been His Grace's style.
Siapa yang pemimpin sebelumnya ya?
I wish Monsieur Nerville would come down here more often too. I feel like he'd... Get a good night's rest, you
Why?
two. You both worked very hard.
Thank you si Gwen. Tidur. Waktunya tidur. Penjara bawah laut. Emang rada-rada ya penjara bawah laut. Apa lagi nih? Nah, udah terjawab semua pertanyaan zona terlarang dan semuanya. Mana nih cerita tentang Childenya? Nggak ada tanda-tanda Childe mau
So much
ketemu.
has happened.
Mana Childenya?
I'm super sleepy.
Ayo dong, Childe. Lo. Kok Paimon duluan tidur?
Delicious. I'm out.
Oyasumi nasai. Jalja.
Get out of what happened! Why is everyone running? No idea.
Lo.
Something must have happened. Stop asking!
Lo.
Who's yelling?
Jangan bilang airnya mau keluar. Alarm kayak ada kebakaran gitu kan?
What happened? Why is everyone running around? Hey, what are you doing?
No time to explain, mate. Goodbye.
Hey, wait!
Nah, kayaknya airnya mau naik
What's wrong
nih.
with these people? They won't even talk to us.
Baru sehari, baru tahu kita.
They're here! There you are!
Oh, thank goodness!
Quisto and Laveroon, do you know what happened here?
We came here especially to inform you. Something seems to have gone terribly wrong. Laveroon was saying you two are new here and you don't have many friends, so you might slip through the cracks. Haven't you heard all the stories like that? An evacuation is successfully completed. Yet you only find out once you do a head count that...
Wait, weren't you the one who brought that up? Why is it suddenly my...
Hey, shut up!
Okay, whatever. The point is, you should come with us. Yeah, he said to get as far away as possible, upwards and outwards.
Loh,
Oh no, it can't be that thing!
Oh, wait, what? What? Hey, where...
We have to go find the Duke! You two just go and get out! Go on without us!
Hey! Be careful!
air primordialnya mau naik nih kayaknya nih atau udah bocor?
Please evacuate upwards and outwards, upwards and outwards.
Kayaknya bocor
If
sih.
you're already at the topmost layer, then try to move as far outwards as possible.
Wah gila sih. Kalau sampai bocor gila sih. Auto hanyut dong warga pantai. Secepat inikah ramalannya? Aktif?
They're here.
Just like I said.
What happened?
You're
Anjir.
just in time. But be ready to run.
Wah, air lautnya beda ya. Primordial. Oh, dibekuin dong. Oh, makanya harus es ya yang jaga ya. Lo.
3, 2, 1.
kayak nonton anime.
This won't hold it for long. Find Neuvillette. Tell him the defenses are about to collapse.
Then what will happen to you?
Until he arrives, we're the last line of defense. The gate. How long do you think it'll hold?
That depends on us.
Anjir. Tegang, Cok. Kita manggil Hakim dong. Hakim Agung, kamu diperlukan di sini, Hakim Agung.
Why are you here?
Traveler, I need you to head to the Opera House immediately. Farina will soon be meeting with the knave there. You must protect Farina and make sure she doesn't spend too much time alone with her. Will do. You have...
Alah. Si Archon noob ini ngapain lagi nyusahin aja anjir. Farina ini ngapain sih? Nyusahin aja. Archon noob. Archon noob. Farina.
Look, there are a ton of Batillion Palais Mermonia people over there. The knave is...
Alah.
Are you two the traveler in Paimon? Monsieur Neuvillette has... Though I'm sure he's already explained, this should be a mostly cordial conversation, unlikely to give rise to violence. But it would be most appreciated if you could...
Hi, kawaii. Kok bisa-bisanya ada di Ponten makhluk seperti itu ya? Archon noob nggak bisa ngapa-ngapain.
Oh, so you two are the honored guests Miss Farina mentioned.
Of course, of course. How could they not attend a meeting such as this? I must always have 2 or more guests at my dessert table. Otherwise, the occasion would be too lonely
Matanya beda ya,
and
Farina ya?
unbecoming of my station.
It is my pleasure to make your acquaintance, traveler. I have heard much of your accomplishments. I am the knave, one of the 11
Penasaran
Fatui
apa ya
Harbingers.
vision yang dimiliki The Knave ya? Signora kan api sama es, Cilde air sama petir.
I've already prepared seats for you. Come, sit beside me.
Perhaps you two are unaware of how Miss Farina and I do things. You see, we actually recently agreed to see
Skaramus 4 elemen.
this is a limited type of confectionery that Miss Farina simply adores.
Penasaran sih The
Traveler,
Knave apa?
what do you think of this
Petir kayaknya ya.
cake?
Suka aja.
That's good to hear. So what Child said was on the mark after all. You do share a taste in... I wonder how he's doing nowadays. You must have heard, right? He's suddenly gone missing. I'm really worried about his safety, you know.
Since we're talking about him, I feel like I should add something. His martial practice.
Oh, so you're also familiar with his aptitude for fighting, Miss Farina. Oh, right. I almost forgot. Child was
Si
subdued by
Farina kayak
Eudex
takut
Neuvillette
sama
right
The
in
Knave
front
ya.
of you. Against ordinary people, my colleague would never be on the back foot. But alas, he just never imagined he'd run into such a person. Coming from you, that's not surprising at all.
Orang
But
tenang, orang yang
I thought
berbahaya.
you'd be happier to hear the news.
Of course, but it's still a bit of a shame. You see, I would have been far happier had I received this news.
Kan kayak takut kan si Farina sama The Knave, kenapa ya?
Well, in any case, there's no need to worry. We know for sure that Child is is still alive.
Oh. And just how do you know that?
Because we found evidence that proved he left the Fortress of Meripede.
And where did he go after leaving the fortress?
Well...
Paimon. Blunder mulu si
The Fortress of
Paimon.
Meripede lies deep beneath the waves. Unless he pranced right out of the main gate, he must have had to swim for it. Do you...
Alah,
Ah, that is good news at least. His sister Tonya sent a letter to Fontaine not too long ago. Since he was unfortunately unavailable, I picked it up on his behalf. Do you have any idea how he usually writes back to his family? Dear Tonya, your letter made me feel like we were still enjoying our time in Snezhnaya together. I'm currently admiring the scenery on the streets in front of the opera house. Is it something like that?
All letters tend to follow the same few formats anyway, right? As long as the contents are accurate.
lah Purina tegang banget, santai dong Archon.
Hold on. The water in the teacup is shaking.
I suppose this is also a sign.
Huh? I don't quite
Have we entered into the next stage of the prophecy?
Apakah Deneb tahu tentang ramalan? Oh, datang.
My thanks to you both. I will take it from here.
Sure you don't need a hand?
Quite sure.
Wow. So, what's your secret, huh? Let me guess. Nah, who knows? Maybe it's just your sense of responsibility.
Loh,
Sounds about right.
langsung ditinggalin dong. Se-OP itu kah? New pellet. Satu tangan dong. Si New pellet S kan katanya.
Day may come when the prophecy is fulfilled and the waters burst forth. But it is not this day.
Not this day.
This ancient power could easily obliterate an entire race. A tsunami of fury would unleash endless catastrophe.
Dibalikin dong airnya. Dibalikin dong airnya. Disegel dong. Dum. Disegel dong.
This sentence is too severe. Forgive me for overruling it.
Hebat anjir, OP dong, New pellet dong. OP banget New pellet.
All right. Seems like the problem inside has been suppressed.
Let me guess. We're safe for now.
Indeed. But only for now.
I win this bet. You owe me a present.
Lah, malah taruhan dia anjir.
Very well. It was indeed just as you said.
You made a bet?
We made a bet on the size of your entourage. Cloran thought you wouldn't come down by yourself.
I figured you would have at least brought a few people along for appearance's sake. It appears I underestimated just how confidential the mission...
Shouldn't you have gotten used to confidential missions by now? That's just how the courts operate.
So what gift must the loser give? Tea?
He already has tons of tea in his office.
Lo.
Thinking about a set of legal codices.
Emang
Wouldn't
boleh
happen to be a
seundang-undang
dig
itu.
at my lack of legal awareness, would it?
Well, I'm sure His Grace doesn't consider the fortress to be outside the law.
I was under the impression the residents of a place like this would be uninterested in the legal codices.
That was obviously a joke.
That was Jack.
Anyway, you've still got some unfinished business to attend to in the overworld, correct?
Alright.
No need to stay here if you have a pressing matter. We all know you can't leave Palais Mermonia for long.
Thank you.
Si paling sibuk dah.
I hope everything went smoothly with the Fatui Harbinger.
Berjalan dengan santai. Drama si Purina noob, anjir Archon noob dong. Tapi penasaran sih.
I must say, we've spent long enough playing house.
Penasaran nih
Miss
si Purina kenapa jadi noob.
As the Hydro Archon, I am sure you understand the exact meaning of the phenomenon we just witnessed. Or should I say, that's what I originated.
What are you trying to say?
At this point, I don't think there's any more need to speak as diplomatic representatives. Allow me to speak to you now as just a Fontanian. You know the prophecy by heart, and also that yet, here you are relaxing, drinking tea, and eating desserts as if it's all nothing more than a few stray bugs in your garden. Do you really think that's acceptable?
Dihina
The
Patui
prophecy's
dong,
hanging above our necks
Archon.
like a guillotine. Every faction is looking for a way to either avert the disaster or save their own. Even the orphans of the House of the Heart have devoted everything to saving their homeland. But you, it beggars belief just how nonchalant and carefree you have been. From the very beginning, you, the god Focalor, you have utterly failed to take action.
You're wrong. I've never ignored the prophecy, nor have I just been passing the time in self-indulgence. Retract your accusation and stop doubting the wisdom of the gods with
Apakah
such
perang?
absurd
Apakah perang
conjectures.
Denep sama Purina di
I
sini?
am not alone in my doubts, you know. All the children of Fontaine may be harboring the exact same thoughts right now. Oh, great
Archon
Hydro
dihina-hina dong, direndahkan
How
dong.
are you going to save them? Save us? How are the people you've sworn to protect supposed to survive in a land that will soon disappear beneath the waves?
I have my ways, and I've been working on them for all this time. Even if you look down upon me, you have no right to judge me. Fontaine will be saved. Even if I still cannot see the true future right now, as long as I continue on as I am,
Apa ya rahasia
I
si
will
Purina
be
ya?
able to hold my head up high.
Then I ask you, Miss Farina, just what have you been working on? Where can we see it, and what is it doing to help?
My machinations are just like the prophecy itself. They will only reveal themselves at the fated time. It is just that beings
Penasaran
like
sekali
yourselves
apa yang
are
direncanakan
unable
sama
to
Archon
perceive
noob
them
ini,
as
Archon
of
noob.
yet.
I see. As a god, the proof of your labor always lies beyond prying mortal eyes. Allow me to be so bold as to ask another way. Would it be possible for you to tell us the parts of your plan that are not confidential? Such as your emergency response plan for the impending disaster?
An emergency response plan?
Oh, that look in your eyes. Have you not
Apakah
even
air
one of
primordial ini salah satu campur tangan The Knife ya?
Emergency response plan is also strictly confidential.
Then allow me to jog your memory. Miss Farina, what is the purpose of your Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal? And what do you plan to do with the massive amounts of indemnitium that has accumulated over the years?
The Oratrice? It's just like it appears to be.
Pusing si Purina,
So
pusing.
you also have no idea. If I'm not mistaken, someone's using it to prepare for something. But unfortunately, it would seem that someone is not you, Miss Farina. I first caught wind of this when Linny tried to investigate the Oratrice in the Opera House. You see, even just getting close to the core contaminated him with an extremely large amount of indemnitium.
Iya ya.
But even if that had
Penentu
nothing to
keputusan
do with
hukuman itu nah.
then what could you possibly be working on, oh great Hydro Archon? Oh, right. I almost forgot. Udex Neuvillette is not at the tea party with us today. Miss Farina, I suppose you must have ordered him away to take care of some troublesome business.
Dendep merepotkan sekali ya.
Yeah, yes, that's exactly right. Please keep it a secret for me.
Of course.
Membosanin banget sih Purina ini ya.
I must say, Miss Farina, you seem quite insecure without the Udex by your side. Oh, very well. Let's stop that conversation here. There are still a few slices of cake left, so please. Traveler, I heard that you were recently commissioned to handle a few matters on behalf of the Udex. Why don't you take it? You too, Paimon.
Thank you. Paimon will take you up on that offer.
Paimon seorang pangkalan nggak pernah nolak.
Oh, Paimon's super full. That cake was great.
If it's on my tea table, it must be of the highest quality. Yes, and
You're welcome. I'm sure the cake also felt greatly honored to be featured at Miss Farina's table. And I was merely catering to Miss Farina's tastes, seeking a chance to chat over tea. It is getting late. Why don't we call it a day?
very well. We'll end it.
Mind seeing me off, Traveler? We could use the opportunity to discuss Child before...
Paimon's coming too!
Wah, apakah ada diskusi berdua aja nih? Apakah ada diskusi berdua sama The Knight kita? Nah itu penimbang keputusan. Kenapa bisa menghukum Cilda padahal Cilda kan terbukti nggak bersalah di matanya si Nipilat kan? Nah di situ yang janggal.
I'm glad that you were willing to come with me. Of course, Child was just an excuse. I have no interest in your dealings with him.
That's what Paimon thought.
You lent your aid to the children of the House of the Hearth. As their father. Do I look like an irresponsible father to you? That was all. Formal topics should be discussed in formal settings, and I know you just returned from the fortress of Meripede. Relax. I have no intention of trying to get anything out of you. Linny, Lynette, and...
They've all been working very hard and have always done all they can to fight back against anyone who tried to stop them. Especially Linny.
You mean Wriothesley. He's a tricky one to deal with. It's unfortunate that Linny's so eager to prove himself that he can't learn to rely... By the way, and you can just consider this a bit of idle You are outside of our disputes, and the freest person in all of Fontaine, able to move around most easily.
And that's everything that happened during the trial. Master Child was declared guilty and immediately transported to the fortress.
Didn't he say he was coming here on vacation? Does he not feel... Forget it. He did give us an... I will be meeting someone shortly.
Do you require help with any preparation?
No need. I will take care of it. I need to meet with Farina, the Hydro Archon. She is at the heart of Fontaine. But what's fascinating about...
Oh, come over here, you little critter, you. You dare to run from me? Stop right this instant!
My goal is just to discover the location of the Gnosis. but I didn't expect the chance to approach Farina to be handed to me on a silver platter. This is so easy.
Denat
It's actually making
Farina
me a bit
tanpa penjagaan.
suspicious. Anything left unguarded is usually just bait. But no one will blame someone for taking the bait. After all, it's just as I guessed in the second before I struck. The hydronosis is not currently held by the Archon.
Nggak ada gnosisnya.
This Archon doesn't seem like a god at all. And I sense that she's under some kind of curse.
Ah iya, bisa kena kutukan ya.
What are you trying to do?
Loh,
Please don't kill
minta
me.
mohon.
I'm begging you, please.
Mohon lah dia lah.
The fear in
Oh,
her
gara-gara
people's
ini ya si
genuine.
Purina takut sama The Knife
So
ya?
perhaps she's not bait after all. Either way, targeting her has lost all meaning.
Oh, gara-gara ini ya si Purina takut sama The Knife ya?
I left the scene with ease. Nobody came looking for me, and nobody could serve as a witness to my near assassination of Focalor.
Iya, nggak ada penjagaan
I
sama
suspect
sekali.
even Farina dares not mention this incident to anyone. Not long after, my informants confirmed what I had guessed. After returning to her quarters, Farina quietly
Loh,
cried
menangis loh.
alone. She was so scared that she could not sleep that night.
Loh,
Nor could she even
bahaya
bring
banget nih
herself to
si
eat her
Archon.
cake.
Archon
There's no
satu ini
doubt
beda
that
nih.
there's something wrong with her. I began to entertain the possibility that she is not the true Hydro Archon.
Loh, teori apa lagi
Index
nih?
Neuvillette is actually the genuine
Tapi kan Neuvillette kan
I have to find the
S ya?
Gnosis. If the Neuvillette hypothesis is correct, he is probably in possession of it. Alternatively, it might have been hidden
tapi
in
kan
a
dia tadi
place
mundurin
that's hard
air ya?
for ordinary people to access.
Yes, Father.
My dear
Neuvillette
children,
Archon boleh
please
juga.
speak.
News from the fortress of
Ternyata
Meripede.
Archon Fountain laki-laki. Apakah?
Master Child has gone missing. On top
Apakah
of that,
teori The
the
Knife
contacts and guards we bribed at the fortress have all gone
akan
quiet as
segera
well.
terbukti?
Probably the handiwork of that Wriothesley.
I'm afraid so.
This is a good opportunity. The value of a harbinger is much higher than most would imagine. We now have an excuse to set up a meeting for me. I would like to meet the Hydro Archon and Udex Nu. Oh, and I have an addition.
Yes, Father.
Tartaglia's disappearance was not a part of my plan, but I can use it to make a breakthrough. With this as my excuse, The initiative belongs to the House of the Hearth. My wish to investigate the fortress of Meripede will be a front.
Seperti itu. Apakah benar ya Neuvillette adalah Archon Fontaine? Teori yang bagus sih.
You should know the rest. Lenny's group is quite close to you, so they wouldn't have hidden anything from you.
You attacked the Hydro Archon?
Gila.
It wouldn't mean anything, even if you shouted it from the rooftops. After all, even Farina herself is still pretending that nothing of that sort ever happened. I've now had 2 chances to enjoy tea with Farina. I have to say, the leadership of Fontaine is even more inscrutable than I had imagined. I once surmised
Loh.
that Udex Neuvillette must
Tapi
be the
sepertinya
Hydro
bukan
Archon.
juga.
But now,
Itu
that
dari
doesn't
mana
seem
itu?
I am a servant of Her Majesty the Tsaritsa. Over my years of service, I've learned how a real Archon conducts and carries
Tidak
themselves.
masuk kriteria.
Whether Udex Neuvillette or Farina, neither fits the bill.
Apakah Archon
It's hard to
Hydro
imagine either of them as the
ini
Archon.
kayak roh ya?
Of course, that is all just how I feel. Gut feelings often do not require justification.
Bingung kan sih.
It is, however, quite
Si
amusing
Nahida
to
kemarin
me
nggak dipercaya
that
sama
after all
warganya
my
sendiri.
years working in intelligence gathering, I've come to realize I am at a complete loss regarding the identity of the god
Loh,
of the
iya
land of
benar-benar
my
ya.
birth. Don't you think Fontaine is quite intriguing? A catastrophe looms, yet many secrets have yet to rise to the surface. Ultimately, though, one must survive in order to do anything else. Should the need arise, I would be happy to cooperate
Ini-
with you.
Gimana
You
nanti?
don't need to
Harusnya
commit
nih
to
kita
anything right
nanti
now,
ada
of course.
melawan
I have a
Harbinger
feeling
lagi
that
nih
the
di pantai
situation will
ini.
continue to evolve, and as your name is often connected with noble deeds, I'm sure we will work together someday.
Nama betul lagi. Kita berdiri di pihak yang sama. Lo, nggak bahaya tah?
You must want to catch up with each other.
Lo.
Neverlet, is it over?
For now, yes. But this issue will prove quite thorny in the long term. I'm concerned that sooner... Thank you for protecting Farina. To put it simply, I used my power to force back the primordial sea and reseal the sluice gate. So as expected, the knave has turned up the pressure on Farina. She's permission granted.
Whoa. It can't be that you're the real Hydro Archon, right? You can't tell us? Then that's okay. We can talk about something.
If by the phrase "you guys" you are referring to Farina and I, then although I'm not sure just what you are trying to imply, I must clarify that I do not share her positions on a multitude of topics. I believe so. The fortress has a long and complex history. It has seen much, and now another catastrophe will soon be upon us. I mourn.
Huh? Why is it
Nah
raining all of a
ini
sudden?
misteri juga nih kenapa tiba-tiba hujan.
You may be closer to the truth than you think.
Lo.
And what are you thinking? The dragon of...
Lo.
Huh?
Please do not be so surprised. Farina?
Neverlet, are you listening?
My apologies.
We were just guessing randomly. We didn't guess right, did we? You're not actually the dragon sovereign of water, right?
You guessed correctly. I sincerely hope you'll be able to
naga
keep
dia.
this a secret for me.
Right, of course. We'll definitely help you keep it a secret.
Oh,
There's
soalnya aku nggak
Paimon
nyobain
wants to
niprit
ask
sih.
you,
Ternyata
though.
dia air ya.
Please, go ahead.
Well, if you are the dragon sovereign of water, and you were able to force back the primordial sea from the fortress, then since Fontaine's prophecy is all about seawater, couldn't you just use your power to solve the crisis?
Masuk akal, Paimon.
None of the currently living dragon sovereigns in the world, myself included, possess our full dragonhood. They say that when the first usurper arrived on Tivat, they seized a part of the dragon's power. Today, that stolen power is the basis of the Archon's authority.
There are 7 elemental archons and 7 matching dragon sovereigns.
The dragon sovereign of water who lived through that era perished a long time ago. As their successor, I know far less of that part of our... In any case, I believe I will not be able to do much unless the Archon disappears and returns their elemental authority to me. Given the status quo, however, I would recommend finding another way to deal with the prophecy.
Oh, so even you can't solve it.
I still have some urgent matters to attend to at my office. If you have any more questions regarding ancient history, you owe...
Please go right ahead. There's a place that Paimon wants to go. We'll see you another time.
Take care.
Purina nih lagi yang belum terjawab pertanyaannya. Kita buka dulu dah. Bacot amat anjir, kita buka dulu dah.
This is great. I feel so relaxed all over. I could almost float away.
Loh, jangan gitu dong. Kita buka dulu dah biar terang map, biar kelihatan kan mapnya. Nah, nanti kita kesini anjir. Oh, kirain tadi emang ada yang kenapa tidak bisa terrepot? Oh iya, pergilah. Halah. Kita kesini dulu dah. Mencurigakan sekali itu. Dapat thank you. Thank you. Where are you? Thank you. Nih. Males banget. Thank you. C6. Finally C6.
Now guess, what suit will this
A bare teeth.
Well, well, look who it is.
Traveler, Paimon.
Looks like you're recovering nice.
Thanks to
Bukannya tadi evakuasi ya?
I managed to.
Whoa, how did she react?
She told me that it was nothing.
She didn't want to stress you out, that's all. She's right.
Yeah.
Okay, but check this out. We went back to the opera house and we met the knave.
You met father?
She said a few things that were, a bit hard to understand.
Her attitude towards you is even better than what we... You should believe her. She has her own way of doing things, and she'll do everything in her power to help those she considers close, which now might also include
Tapi
you.
kan katanya si Denep ini kan punya
Father is
dua
very
kepribadian
capable
ganda.
and also trustworthy.
Kita nggak tahu sisi dia yang jahatnya
Libby was
kan.
a bit too proud as well. She said that you should learn how to rely on others sometimes.
That does.
Hey!
Are you going to stay here for the next few?
Looks like it, yeah.
Excellent. I will host it.
For real? Then
Another implies that you were already served some. Well, next time.
Pusing ya. Di atas semua anjir. Kita kesini dulu dah. Bikin penasaran anjir. Loh. Bukan ya? Loh, Sini aja dah. Gak paham aku alurnya loh. Bukan. Wah, arena tarung kayaknya.
You guys are...
You guys didn't get caught and thrown back down here, right?
And here I thought you'd managed to escape from jail during all the commotion. I'd held you up as lit...
We're sorry.
All right. There's no need to get caught up in the details. We're just relieved.
Hey, it wasn't just me.
Something like... I was also transferred to work in the kitchen a few days ago. I can still hear Quisto mumbling to the carrots. Although, whenever he'd say that, I'd tell him I'm sure they're fine. Wherever they are, they're kicking back...
Hey, there's nothing wrong with worrying about your prison pals. Is there?
These two. They sure are a lot warmer and friendly.
Oh, well, if you say so. I'll be watching you to...
Gak penting, gak ada ilmu, gak ada yang dapat. Kita ketemu sama Duke dulu ya. Ngecek keadaan. Oh, di bawah ya dia ya. Nggak ada Duke-nya.
Miss...
Yeah, I was working on...
That's no excuse for... Huh?
Junior, Lurvine, we're back!
Hello there. It's been quite the mess here recently.
And you? Are you still taking the secret passageway from the infirmary to work on the ship?
Yep. That is still top secret, though. So don't say a word to anyone.
It can be a bit annoying when there are lots of people in the infirmary, but I still prefer taking that route over the one from the dupe.
I mean, the infirmary does make it easier for you to slack off.
Oh yeah? Then why are you...
You two really are just using your jobs as a cover for your relationship.
Not at all!
Pacaran dah ini. Ini ragu sih di bawah apa di atas. Soalnya saya nggak paham alurnya. Nah, di atas ternyata. Yang paling masuk akal di atas. Bersama. Sequin ya. Kita ketemu Sequin lagi deh di tempat makan. Sequin, hai Sequin. Berapa jam ini ya? Sama bet anjir, kok komik udah selesai.
We're fine. But what about you guys? A few people sustained superficial injuries, but that's about the extent of the damage. Monsieur of course. We must also think, how did Nervalet know that he was needed here? Well, Monsieur Nervalet has strong resonance with the hydro element. When the water level rises, he can feel the waves produced. I ran into the bombshell bros while bandaging the injuries of the wounded. They were mumbling the whole time about how you just ran down without a word. I'm so relieved to see that if you're not too pressed for time, just let me know if you get a craving for any particular dish, so I can have Mr. Walsey get your meals prepared. I'd like to take the opportunity to spend some more time observing your facial muscles as well. Your happy smiles are quite contagious, you know. They're so...
kantor Pak Duke dulu kita ya. Kantor Pak Duke. Mau pamitan ya. Istirahat sehari, bebas deh. Luxurious kek hadiahnya. Siap Pak Duke.
Do my eyes deceive me, or did I just see 2 inmates come back after making it to the surface?
We wanted to see how the fortress is doing. Is everything...
We're fine, for the most part. Neuvillette came down and took care of the worst of it.
If that's the case, why don't you just ask him to stay here?
Oh, yeah, what a brilliant plan. Let's go convince the Udex himself to exchange the Courts of Fontaine for a puddle of water. He came here in a hurry and left without even stopping for a cup of tea. He did remember to take Miss Sigewin's gift with him, though.
He sure sounds super...
Miss Cloran has left as well. She also took her gift.
Were the gifts milkshake?
Neuvillette got the milkshake. Clorand received lipstick instead.
Those are...
Well, it's Neuvillette's own fault for making Sigewin worried about his health by working so much. But besides that, our head nurse is still pretty fond. Oh, and I have some gifts here.
Are these from Sigewin?
Nope, they're from yours truly. You've already wrapped up your work at the fortress, so you can return to the surface at any time. You haven't yet served your full prison term, however, so you may continue to use your cell.
For real? Then we could stay here for a really long time?
You may access the cafeteria for free.
Hooray!
Just remember to come complete your paperwork once it's time for your release.
Oh, dibebasin dia. Kita tidur dulu di mes. Jauh banget mesnya, jauh banget. Kayak cutscene tadi harusnya aku nggak ngomong ya. Ya udah bodo amat anjir. Yang penting kita tidur. Hari esok akan datang.
We're back in our cell again. We're no longer prisoners, though, so it really doesn't feel... Sure feels that way. But the truth is, we never did anything bad. Huh? How did you know? Hey, that's not true! It's like we've now gone to so many places together and become friends with so many people. There are so many bad things in the world, and we're just 2 people, but you're counting Paimon today? Aren't you the only adventurer here? Then let's ask Catherine to give Paimon an adventurer handbook as well. Paimon will also be an adventurer from... just our thoughts making Paimon giddy. The last time we fell asleep here, we woke up to a whole mess outside ourselves. The primordial seawater nearly rose up. We should be safe now, right? Alright then, good night to you, traveler.
Oyasumi Paimon. Oyasumi nasai. Pagi hari. Loh, ini Cilde kah? Wah, ada Cilde lagi nih. Lo, nggak bahaya ta? Cilde beneran di air primordial. Loh, di dalam binatang. Kayak Nabi siapa ya? Nabi Yunus ya? Bahaya sekali dong. Habis. Gimana sih? Oh, masih Semeru aman. Kita gacha dulu. Guys. Ada dapat 1, kita gacha dulu. New pilot air ternyata. Aku kira dia es, anjir. Lumayan lah. Satu kali. Lumayan satu kali. Emas kek. Gak mau emas. Ama nggak main kita. Kita nggak nyesain. Berhenti. Event banyak sekali misi. Aku dunia ini aja nanti nah. Oke, selesai.